What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good morning, everybody, and a happy Sacred Sunday to you. I am really grateful for all of you who might be with us today watching the show. And I want to acknowledge those of you that are watching us on Facebook. John and Summer Raymer, thank you so much. Through the Sign Network, we make it to as many as 200 Facebook groups and pages. So if you're watching us that way, welcome. Also want to welcome those of you who are watching on Conscious Awakening Network, on Humanity's Team, or on the YouTube channels like Alan Steinfeld's New Realities, or our own Global Peace Tribe channel. So however you're watching us, wherever you're watching us, welcome. And today would be a really good day for you to join the Global Peace Tribe if you haven't already, because this weekend is the start of our new season. Our seasons are 3 months at a time. And by joining us, you get to come into the Zoom room and interact with us. And today is one of those days you are going to want to interact with us because it's going to be our community conversation day. We have one incredible guest, John Raymer, who's going to show us how to create our own missions. We are now starting the 99 Days of Unity, which is pretty much the entire season. For those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we've just started summer. For those of you down under, like Dorina Joy, you are now in winter. And so during this season, during the next 99 days, we each are encouraging people to create a goal, a mission. It could be personal or professional. And as a Global Peace Tribe, which we are going to support each other. That's what today is going to be all about. And so it'd be a really good day to come and be in the Zoom room with us. So how do you do that? Well, it's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com. Globalpeacetribe.com. You can scroll around, learn all about us. Definitely make sure you get your free copy of Deborah Giusti's book, and then click register for the new season, which, as I said, actually began yesterday. And when you do that, it'll take you to our registration page. We do 3 or 4 shows every day, every week. I was trying to say every day. Feels that way sometimes. 3 or 4 shows every week. And each show is featuring amazing musical artists and inspirational teachers and leaders. So, for example, this week on Wednesday night, we had a wonderful show on Wednesday night celebrating Gay Pride Month. And it was one of my favorite shows. It was just filled with so much wisdom and an incredible woman who has been doing the fight. She's in her 70s now. She has been an activist in this world for 50 years. She spent 4 years in prison because she was in a same-sex marriage. Boy, we sure have come a long way, haven't we? Anyway, that was Wednesday night's show. Last night's show, we learned all about manifesting, which was to set up today's show, which is all about what you want to manifest in your life. Now you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I would have liked to have seen those shows. Guess what? When you register, you're going to get the Zoom room links. You can come on in to the shows and you get the Zoom room links for all of our shows for the next 3 months. Plus, on Monday, we send out the recordings. Every Monday, we send out the recordings of last week's show so you can go back and watch the Gay Pride show, or you can watch How to Manifest. So join the Global Peace Tribe. Okay. I am going to lead us into a brief meditation, really to kind of get us ready for today's community conversation. And I'm going to go right into an Omashar song, and then we're going to go right into John Raymer, and then we're going to hear from all of you. Now, don't be shy. Today is one of those days where we are going to put the camera on some of you, hopefully. We're going to learn what your missions are. I definitely am hoping to hear from Connie, Eleanor Joy, some of our regulars. We want to hear from you. What's your mission that you want us to support you with, okay? And for those of you who don't want to be on camera, that's okay. But at least be ready to write it into the chat box. Today is going to be an interactive show. Okay. So let's get ready for a little meditation. I invite all of you to close your eyes unless you are operating a motor vehicle or listening to this on a bicycle, which might be one or two of you. But I think most of you can close your eyes and it's safe. And take a deep breath and exhale. Another deep breath and exhale. And I invite you to continue to consciously breathe, meaning you're paying attention to your breath. Allowing my voice to just gently guide you. Breathing in and out in awareness of your breath. Breath is life. When we are breathing consciously, we are awake. We are more conscious, more present. And continuing to pay attention to your breath and breathing at a pace that works for you well. And I want you to think about what's something very special in your life that you want to accomplish over the next 3 months. What's something that would be just a wonderful accomplishment? And it can be simple. It can be planting a rose bush. It can be finishing cleaning out the garage. It can be painting the fence. Or it can be something a little bit more ambitious. It could be writing a book, starting that new business, redesigning your website. It could be anything that truly is in your heart's desire. Now, some of you might be getting an immediate thought. And for those of you who something immediately comes to mind, that's wonderful. Notice if there are any little gremlin voices that say, no, you can't do that. No, you will get that done. Just notice those voices and shoo them away. Picture them like little gremlins. They have no power over you. They're just little voices poking at you, and just shoo them away. And for any of you who don't have clarity on what that might be, imagine connecting to your higher self, your divine self, your God self, that voice connected to that bigger part of you, the observer that loves you unconditionally and watches your life. And what does that voice have to say? There's a wonderful mantra, which I'll repeat a few times, that might help you to connect to that voice. My will and thy will are one. Always thy will be done. My will and thy will are one. Always thy will be done. Continuing to consciously breathe. And we're going to be quiet for a minute as you can kind of reflect and see what comes to mind for your mission, your goal during this 99 days that you'd be willing to share with your family here, your Global Peace Tribe. We'll be quiet for a minute or two, and then I'll put the spotlight on Om Shar, who will lead an opening song.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed. We are the ones we're waiting for. We are so grateful for all that we've learned. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed. The sun is shining, our hearts are open. We are so grateful for all that we've learned. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful. Global Peace Tribe is standing tall. We are so grateful for our family. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed. Okay, sing along. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. One more time. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed.
We are so blessed, and we are especially blessed for you, beloved Om Shar, for your amazing contributions to every show. I'm so grateful for you.
My pleasure. I'm grateful for this opportunity, Scott, and to know you. Thank you, dear brother, and to all the other brothers and sisters that I've met. Our Global Peace Tribe family is so beautiful.
And I appreciate, one of our blessings is Dorina Joy, who always lets us know what day it is, right? And so I love that she said it was World UFO Day, and immediately you were able to pull up your UFO.
Well, no, that's just it. It's but the spirit behind the scenes preconceives these things. I did not read that, and it just came to me about 10, 15 minutes
You're
before
kidding.
that I should use that background. And I thought, UFOs, why? And I just went with it. So we are connected, brother. Dorina, thank
That
you.
is amazing. That
It's
is very something.
it's a miracle that happens every single day, our connection. And as we become more unencumbered by our limited mental faculties and our true spirit in our heart arises, we tune into each other. We know it's already there. Anyway, that's it.
Wow.
Now,
All right. Well, of course, and we're gonna work on your mission very shortly. So we're gonna get a lot of Omashar today. Omashar speaks today's conversation.
Omashar speaks.
So, all right. Well, I'll tell you another great blessing we have is the Sign Network. And the man and the woman behind the Sign Network are John and Summer Raymer. Summer, God bless her. Right now, even as we speak, her little fingers are flying as she's getting us out to all the different Facebook groups and pages. And her beloved husband, John, is with us, and we love John. And John is one of the core people behind World Unity Week, 99 Days of Global Unity. And really, he is one of the master networkers for that which has many names. We can call it the Global Peace Tribe. We can call it the Illuminate Film Festival. We can call it World Unity Week. This is
Peace Week.
Peace Week, the Sign Network, the Evolutionary Leaders Network. These are all these wonderful different organizations that all have the same idea. We all have the same vision. Let's wake up together. And so before we go into the missions, John, I would love for you to share with people a little bit about yourself. We see you, but we'd love to know more about John Raymer, the man. So tell us a little bit more about you, and then, of course, about the Sign Network.
Well, I must have done something right, or I wouldn't be married to Summer, and I wouldn't be here, right?
That's for sure. Good karma. Good karma there, partner.
Yes, no doubt, and it fuels my soul. When I was a kid, there was a phrase they called tikkun olam, which is to mend and heal and transform the world. And that's served as a pretty good purpose for my life. And I was formerly trained as a musician, and music has probably been one of the most important teachers to me. It's amazing what it takes when you get into a circle with some folks and everyone takes out their instruments and we attempt to get in tune with each other and have the magic of music emerge. And that's kind of what I'm still after. It's a little messier with words, more challenging. And I'm a grandfather now, and therefore it's my goal is to be a good relative. And I've had the privilege and fortune to find you guys, and that we're here together, and people like Connie and you and Omashar and all of us here. This is ours to sort out. We must have all gotten that Chinese fortune cookie that said, "May you live in interesting times." And these are very challenging and amazing times. And they say that all development is driven by changes in the limits of the possible, in the structures of everyday life. That was Fernand Braudel. And look at this. Here we are. Literally, we just finished World Unity Week. We did hundreds of presentations were offered for people all over the world. Here we are, able to convene with you in the Global Peace Tribe, Scott. This is a new medium. And one of the things that we know is that when you change the medium, you could change the practices. And we need new practices. Otto Scharmer, a couple years ago on World Unity Week, said that we're very well organized to produce results that nobody wants.
Wow. That's sad, isn't it?
I know. And Dr. Tamsin Woolley Barker makes this point that the situation we're in is caused by the patterns. And the patterns are caused by the relationships. If we change our relationships, we could change those patterns. and then we'll have a new situation. And the sign network, which many of us are aligned around, are a good example of what I'm talking about. So we made up this distinction called trusted sharing. And Summer and I are admins on over 350 Facebook pages and groups. Now that's a different pattern. People don't often grant that kind of permission to people. But when we say, well, look, we can turn these live streams into sine waves by caring and sharing for each other. And we've been able to gain some success with that and been able to lift up each other that way. And for me, that's a good example of what we're talking about. And what we just did with World Unity Week is another example of that, where people volunteered to take time to steward these convergence rooms. There were over 20, I think 25 convergence rooms, room 1 being one of the 25. And in those convergence rooms, people hosted folks who came to present. Some people who were stewards also presented, but many people just presented and they were cared for by the stewards in those rooms. And in doing so, we're looking to turn what we have into what we need. And we need a new way of operating together. It's cooperate, it's collaborate, it's co-create. For too long, we've been in our own silos. Now, I had the good fortune, after 9/11, that was kind of my Pearl Harbor. I got involved in community organizing, worked on a number of amazing projects. Then in 2008, the Dalai Lama visited Seattle for an event called the Seeds of Compassion. And that's where I met Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr. And that's where he shared these guiding principles that had been stewarded at that time for over 30 years. Now it's over 50 years. So the fact that we have the incredible social capital that we have the connections with the indigenous world. So many of us who know that that change happens wherever we are locally. If we take seriously where we are locally, you want to find out who are the first people that were here. That'll bring you back to the indigenous world. So what we're doing now is creating an opportunity between what we did in World Unity Week, starting on June 17th, through to Peace Week in September, starting September 16th through the 23rd. When we counted those up, we found it was 99 days. And we said, well, we need 99 days of peace through unity as we build momentum towards Peace Week in September. And with the urgency of the situation we're all in, we felt, let's see if we can really catapult ourselves and each other forward in unprecedented unified action. So our Sign Alliance is a team, in effect, of social innovators committed to behavior change at scale through collaborative learning and innovation and what we call this unprecedented unified action. So we had the thought that one thing that could bridge those two convergences, so World Unity Week is a convergence, Peace Week is a convergence, would be for us to declare our missions. Now, missions could be personal. Some people are going to finish their book, but they can also be collective. There are groups and organizations and alliances that have declared missions. And in doing so, we can start to see how these missions relate to each other. So there can be joint missions, combined missions. We're actually building what we call a mission marketplace. So people can start to discover what's unfolding here and discover what we have. And turning what we have into what we need is really the essence of strategy. So with this new medium, and we're using this platform called Mighty Networks. So I don't know, maybe, there aren't that many people here. If you don't know what the Mighty Network is, let me know. Would you raise your hand or somehow indicate? I don't want to be redundant, and I hope everyone it's free.
I think you should go ahead and explain to people about Mighty Networks, because probably most people might have heard the words,
Okay.
but they may not know how to utilize it and why it's valuable.
Okay, one of the key things, and I'm like all of us, kind of enamored by the power of social media, but also concerned about the downside of social media. What's great about the Mighty Network is the business model behind it. Whereas on Facebook and Twitter, we're the product. Those corporations are beholden to their shareholders. And as we learned, like with the social dilemma, that these technologies can be used to keep us engaged. And a lot of that, unfortunately, is around hate and anger. because they want to satisfy their advertisers. Mighty Network isn't built on that. It was actually built by a woman who built the Ning networks years ago. So I have a great deal of respect for the team. We pay an annual fee so that when they're called the algorithms, what you choose to see is set by you, as opposed to by some algorithm that's determining your preferences based upon your clicks. I mean, everything you do in these networks is observable and therefore can be factored into these algorithms to keep you engaged. And that's why, we've become so divided in this world right now. And who do you trust? This is one of the core questions right now. Who do you believe? We know so many of our friends all of a sudden start telling us things that never thought they felt that way. We're in a moment of real transformation. So I want to show you what Mighty Network is and give you a way to get to it. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it's going to work. Let me see here. Hold on before I try to do that. Let me click on a page. And let's see. I'm going to put the link in the chat too. So if you're not on the Mighty Network and you want to get on there, you'll find it easy to do this. All right, let's see. So in the upper left, you see it says Peace Through Unity. I'm assuming you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we see that.
All right. And I'm going to click on this and I'm going to grab here the invite. And I'm going to put that in the chat. So if anybody is inspired to and wants to. So how do I get to everybody? Meeting group chat. I'm assuming that's it. So there you go. Hopefully that's going to pop up wherever you are. Now, the way Mighty Network works is that on the left-hand panel here, this little twisty here, this is because this is a collection of what they call spaces. So we just finished World Unity Week. That's why I moved it down. It was beautiful. And if you go into the different rooms, I mean, it was amazing. You could see the sessions that were there, and we're looking at how to really distill the most out of that. But there's a space here for these missions. And this is the overview, that page I'm clicked on up here. You see these little, they're called features, these pages in effect. If you click on overview, this will give you a good overview of what we're saying here. The theme for World Unity Week is New Earth Rises. So there's a new Earth rising. And this mission is a way of participating in that, catapulting towards a new Earth rising. It's designed to accelerate the projects and initiatives that align with that vision. So we say that here is a world where environmental stewardship, social justice, collective well-being all intertwine. And we're calling on you, bright minds, innovators, activists, change makers, to propose those missions that have the potential to catapult our progress towards a shared vision. And it's a shared vision. This is the thing. We want to avoid creating missions that are just silos. Part of the game is not only declaring your mission, but then starting to see how they come together. We have some creative ideas for how to do that. So this overview, mission proposals, the 99-day time frame, cross-disciplinary collaboration, support and resources, all of that's right here for you, including the actual form down here. So if you come down here, you say, hey, I want to do this. This is the form that you would fill out. And we have, I think, probably 75 of these missions. So if you say, hey, I want to declare a mission for the 99 days, it gives you a couple fields to do that. Now, there's one mission that we're using to kind of bring it all together, and that's the 99 Days of Radical Collaboration by Teaming Up, Dr. Tamsin Willie Barker. So I just clicked off the overview and I went to the missions. And that's what you're seeing here. There's a couple of missions. And then if I go here, I could see all the missions. And we're going to look at Omashar, so we said what we do. But each of these are the mission plans. When you declare your mission, we're asking you, give us some objectives, what you want the mission to accomplish, and give us a call to action. So what you're asking for. And they're really all over the place. That's what's so incredible about this. So let's go, and how would I find Omashar? Well, if I go up here, I want to search the missions, and I put in Omashar, you have to spell it right. It's good for that. Here's one called Raising the Vibration of All. So like I was just saying, each mission has an objective or multiple objectives, has a call to action. You can connect up here if I want to communicate with Omishar. That's right here. If I click on that, it'll take me to his profile and the ability to chat with him. And then down here, you see these. This is what's called hashtags, okay? And that's a good way to group all this together. So when we updated his mission and he's able to go in here, well, look at this. This is right up my alley, Renee Collins. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Give me a shout, Omishar, but Renee's a great musician. He's a good lead for you there, all right?
Thank you.
Okay.
I hadn't seen that.
All right. Well, here's what I would do. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, and a bunch of people have shared. If I go here and I use the little @ symbol, you know this, I put in Omishar. Take a look and reach out to, and I could put in Renee in here. Right? And if I go down here and comment that, they're going to get, you may hear the ping if he has it turned on, but Omishar will be notified. And that's part of the game. So these missions that are here, if we clear these, now we've been grouping them. We talked about these hashtags because there's a lot of them. How are we going to find them all, right? So let me go up to here, just back to missions. And then these missions that are here also have these tags. So for instance, I was just talking about this teaming up with Tamsin. If I click here, it's going to bring me not only the mission that she put together, but anything else that's been related to that mission and that she's tagged. So she's got a couple of sessions coming up. Those all appear here when you look here. She's an evolutionary leader, and Tamsin and I did a talk, and then we went ahead and we transcribed that talk and summarized it. This is a ChatGPT summary of her talk, which was amazing. It was just remarkable how well, this is the entire talk. But I put the hashtag teaming up in here. That's why it showed up when I went to the hashtag. So this is kind of a way to start to, if you will, find all these missions. And based on those guiding principles I mentioned earlier, so if I go to missions here, there's this article about these guiding principles and how we're creating these synergy tags. So this is the summary statement. And I think this is very simple and powerful. As a musician, when Brother Phil shared this with me, I said, oh my God, that's a hit. Starting from within. Working in a circle, in a sacred manner. We heal and develop ourselves, our relationships, and the world. And what we've done, taking that summary statement, and there were 16 guiding principles, and we broke that into 6 different domains, if you will. And we call them these synergy tags. So we've been able, everything that's personal and spiritual, everything has to do with currencies and economies, governance and politics, social and cultural, ecological, environmental, or the holistic, all of those. Those 6 are what's now, if I go up to the missions here, to these tags, those are the first 6 tags. So if I want to see everything that's social and cultural, I'll click here and it starts to bring up all these missions. You say, aha, now look at this. This is a beautiful example. This woman has set up a mission for taking seriously changing the world. And I'm inviting everybody here to not only declare your mission, and we're going to write more about this to make it clearer, but to engage in the marketplace of these missions, to start to see where you may want to weave your strategies together. So everyone who puts in a mission gets a little note back from us on next steps for how they can support making their mission happen. And then here, Joni Carley, amazing social innovator, comes like, your work looks awesome, Suzanne, I agree. It's all about consciousness. A group of us have been working on unity of consciousness at the UN. Well, then she and Suzanne are engaging with each other. So I want to pause here, Scott, because there's a lot, but look, this is a new opportunity for us to get to know our work in different ways. This was just social and cultural. Like I said, I put these tags in all 6 of those domains: personal, spiritual, currencies, economies, governance and politics, social and cultural, ecological, environmental, or holistic. These are for me, and they're all here. Now, Connie's here, and she's got a mission. She's got the future film, right? let's put Connie in there. She's got film, In Search of the Future. It's a film that she and Andrew are doing. Now, usually they have the objectives and the calls to action, but Connie got this in early, so that one's there. Let me pause here because I just put a lot on the table. I don't want to overwhelm people, but I want to encourage you to play. If not now, when? And if not us, who?
Absolutely. I'm gonna bring Omashar back on for a moment. And so let's work a little bit with Omashar, and then I'm gonna see if anybody wants to volunteer to create a mission, and we'll actually watch, and we'll actually have John create a mission with somebody. So I originally thought Connie, but I see she already has a mission created. So maybe we can bring Connie up and you can help her exemplify it a little bit. But also, who in the audience might want to create a mission? Like Jerry Anderson, our wild monk might want to do something, Roger and Bonnie. So if you're interested in creating a mission, or Eleanor Joy and Ian, or any of you, Lynn and Leif, any of our regulars, those are the people whose cameras are on that I see right away, either raise your hand or pop in the chat box that you would like to create a mission as our example today. And I'll have you work a little bit with Omashar since she's already got one started. And Omashar, how is this for you? Like, what is your goal? Like, what inspired you to do it? Let's talk.
Well, the inspiration really comes from John and the momentum that John and Summer and Ben Bowler and all of us actually collectively have added to, has created this momentum, and I feel aligned with it and attuned with it, and it's a reality. And it's like, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? So we're here, we're doing it because it's exciting, it's alive. You know, it's a fraction out of my comfort zone, but hey, it's too late for that. We just got to keep walking forward. And I have currently 6 albums out, but they've all been produced and recorded, except for one, by myself. And I'm a jack at recording. And I feel that my music and other music like mine, with lyrical content that mine has, needs to be heard out in the world now. And you can, any lyric can be wrapped in a beat that people in the world are jiggy with, let's say, and it'll hook them. Let's say the rhythm, the melody will hook them before they even listen to the lyrics. And because of that, I thought, I put a pause. I'm on album number 7, and I realized that I'm just going to bring it out with the same level of production that I did before, which was good but not excellent. And so I've paused it, and I thought, what do? I need a world-class producer. And then along came the missions, and I thought, hang on a minute, isn't that really selfish? Omashar wanting a world-class producer for his product. Why? So he can have a BMW? Well, absolutely, or maybe, but electric one. But the truth is, it's the passion. You know, I'm here to serve everybody. I'm here to enlighten the world, because by enlightening the world, I enlighten myself and vice versa. And so I realized it wasn't a selfish goal. And so when you go onto Mighty Networks, and as I put in the chat there, you can just go onto mightynetworks.com on your computer, or you can get an app for your phone. And it's very interesting. I wasn't watching my app on my phone, and somebody wrote to me a week ago saying, that's Renee, Renee Collins. And he said, that's right up my alley. So I'm just now replying to him 1 week late, apologizing for being tardy. However, it's working, and I just need to pay more attention. And so I had to think it through, because you have a mission statement and call to action. And it was quite challenging to bring my mission into a statement, but I'll stop there, John.
Oh, this is beautiful, Omashar. Okay. Because you see, this is for me the opportunity to get out of the old pattern. I see again and again social innovators who are working by themselves and weaving together and coming together. That's something that it takes vulnerability. It takes you going through that thought, well, wait a minute, is that self-serving? Am I going to be putting too much attention on all those things that hold us back? It's time to let that stuff go, guys. This is our time.
Yes, it is. I realize that it was Tamsin that was saying about the patterns, all of these patterns, you know, as we enlighten, all the patterns get lightened up as well, and we have a choice to ignore them. And so, yeah.
So what's in the way is on the way.
Yes. Thank you.
And we're moving there together. And that's the opportunity that we haven't seen before. Swarm creativity. You know, in nature, you see the starlings move. You see the fish move like that. We don't do that well. We need to be humble about this and say, okay, what's it going to take for us to actually, because in nature, we're afraid of the parasites that glom on. Well, instead of being parasitic here, we can be mutualistic and be creating win-win solutions for everybody. And Scott, that's at the heart of the mission for Sign, which I haven't shared, but I want to tell you about. I haven't declared it yet.
Can you declare today? Can we do that right now?
And I want to get to Grace because she put her hand up. That's great.
Okay,
But
good.
what I see is missing for all of us. So those guiding principles you saw at the bottom of that article, I put a link to the paper Phil and I wrote on deep social networks. And that was in 2009. We launched that on International Day of Peace. But what I see we need now is I'm calling a deep, beloved community of networks with a global influence. A deep, beloved community of networks with a global influence. Because there are so many. Rick Olfik's got his 11 days. The Holo Movement's got its framework. David Gershon's got his 7 frequencies. So we need to become a community of networks. We can't do all of it. Even though I said, hey, it's like a buffet, get a bigger plate. You can't get a plate big enough to consume all of this.
Yeah.
We've got to find our way through this. And for me, that makes us a deep, beloved community of networks that's going to have a global influence. That's what I'm setting out to do in support of all the Sign members on behalf of what we're up to right now. And we're building the field right here as we learn how to have these kind of conversations. We learn how to think together and care for each other. It's care. I'm writing a paper. AI doesn't care. And you know what? And the subtitle is, I know that's true because I asked ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, and when we had Sophia on the World Unity Week, you know,
Yes.
thing, she talked about that she doesn't have feelings.
That's right. So we've had a major wrench thrown in the works here, guys. We have a super intelligence that we've never had before. Now, how do we put that to good use? And that's part of this journey for me, is learning how to use these new tools to care for each other in ways we haven't cared. And that's why let's go to Grace and see what she's thinking.
All right.
You can show how to turn what your dream is into a mission that we can get behind, Grace.
So Grace, if you can unmute and maybe turn on your camera.
You
we'd
mind?
love to hear from you.
I'll put my camera for a minute, but I would rather stay off camera mostly. Okay. So
Okay.
hi everybody, but maybe I'll dare stay on camera.
We love seeing you, Grace. Hello,
Thank you,
Grace.
Thank you, Grace. You're stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I am definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. Now I want to go away. So everything you're talking about really means a lot to me. And I've been I'm this introvert artist for many years who turned writer after about 20 years ago. And my parents were involved in international affairs. My dad was involved with HAFUN at the UN. My mom was involved with international consumer rights. But I was the rebel and scapegoat and introvert artist. But I've been writing and I have all these ideas that kind of flood me, and they're very related to what you're talking about. So I looked at your mission categories. Actually, my thinking unites all of them. So I see that we don't have enough holistic thinking. So like just even my experience with the health issue and realizing about alignment and that our natural tendencies are towards health, and just applying that to like international affairs. And I just see that the problems that we're facing are much more complex than most of us realize, much more about the parts that we're not seeing that are happening. About you're talking about chat GTP. I was just reading about that this morning. I forget the website, Zen something. Anyway, a lot of really good articles about the risks that were, I ended up watching a YouTube with Gregory Hinton on the risks of AI. So I just feel there's so much the need for what you're doing. Marianne Williams had said something about the left. I think it was she who said that, not the left. The haters are the ones, or something like that, the ones who can really fight or have this ability to kind of unite and get strong. And it's the good, the loving ones of us, but also maybe the more left wing. I don't know. I know some of people here are conservatives, so I don't want to get political, but just that there's a softer part of us, those of us who are more individualistic, we kind of value that. And we're not as likely to kind of, but the other day I saw a wonderful video from Deborah Poneman about being light warriors. And I love that. And that's going around, now. So I just feel we do need something really strong. I don't think we can be too laid back, but we need to be heart-centered. And the whole thing, I had this idea. He was talking about the risks of AI, which can be tremendous. And he feels that we're in risk within the next 5 years. I thought, what if we could, I realized what I've been writing is kind of like the UN written over again. It's like my dad did that work, but I never studied it much. But I submitted, and I can show you, sorry, something's happening on my iPhone. I'm talking, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna do end it. No,
It's okay.
I'm wrong. I'm just gonna ignore it because I tend to do things wrong. So I'll just keep talking. Sorry. Oh, that's because I've been having all these, that's from Verizon. I'm having all these tech issues and phone calls dropped and all sorts of things. Anyway, all right. So what I'm trying to say is that the central mission, I think, of the UN, but it has failed it. And there are a lot of countries that feel failed by it. But if we could make that really real by being super, the whole concept of transparency and reflective back, so I was just reading the chat box. I'm sorry, my mind goes this way. So the user corresponds, it is giving feedback and guiding what is happening. We need that in everything, right? And we're not having that. So when we see problems in the world, we're not realizing those voices aren't being empowered in constructive, loving ways. That happens in families when, one part of the family is not being empowered in a beautiful, accepted, listening way. And that those gifts or capacities of communication, listening. So my ideas across everything, and I feel like there's universal principles. Meanwhile, I'm still an introvert, although I'm talking to you about all this. And I have all these ideas and I kind of freeze up and I don't write them on my Substack I just started. I do have a peace proposal there, but I've frozen ever since I put it there. So anyway, so I want to be bringing people together like you're doing. And I think the hologram person is doing. And actually, in art, I learned about it. Like in really great art, everything is hologram. Like you look at a part of a Rubens hand and the structure and the spacious form relation of like a hologram of the whole. And there's infinity if you look at really great art. Anyway, so that's what we need to have in our movement and that awareness. I'm sorry, I'm babbling. I'm going, this is ridiculous.
So Grace, so this is a good.
So I want to bring these ideas.
Grace,
and
actually, Grace, let me come in for a minute.
Yes.
First of all, thank you, because you are doing a wonderful job of modeling what I think happens for a lot of people. Every idea you're expressing is beautiful and important, right? And sometimes I think a lot of the people that might be watching this show have so many ideas, so many things, and they all need to get done, right? And they're all important, like everything, because I kind of was looking for, okay, what's her mission going to be, right? There are about 7 things you've said that would be a wonderful mission. And one of those would even be just organizing your ideas into a thing. I heard you say that, you've got this Substack, moving that forward, right?
That's my mission.
Right. So in this moment, and we can just take a breath, what's one thing that we could support you with that right now, John can help you create a mission that we are all going to watch. We're all going to bless it. Some of us might even find a way to practically support it. So what's one mission you can choose right now that you'd like for us, you'd like to co-create with John and us?
So I want to get over my block and be contributing daily or weekly, at least to the Substack, and then have it get out there, have a wide reading. I have this international peace proposal, common sense peace proposal for international peace. And I've been trying to get the nerve to submit it to the New York Times, but never got through my bio because I don't really have the credentials. But I talked to this guy there. He said, go ahead. He said, you think out of the box. But I've still been frozen, right? But I'd love to get my ideas out there to as many people as possible and to connect just keep that connection. My ideas interconnect with Rayon Eisler. They connect with everybody. I mean, so many people. I've stayed with Gene Houston and I don't know, there's so many people. They intersect everywhere. So I'd love to just get the ideas out there, get people moving on it, and have us motivate a movement. Really, I want to create a movement that instead of being passive, that we all see how we can vote, how we can buy products, make sure they're fair trade, speak up for our countries, for.
So let's just, but for
like
right
that.
now, let's work on the Substack, because again, all those other things are going to grow out of your getting your Substack out there, right? So, John, could you work with her on creating a mission right now?
Well, Scott's such a good coach, Grace. Okay, so but look what's going on here. If we go back to those guiding principles, it is challenging just to pause a little bit, Grace. Right? That's part of, in our culture, we don't have places to empty. So starting from within, working in a circle, in a sacred manner, we heal and develop ourselves, our relationships, and the world. And Patricia Ann Davis told me that healing is learning. So there's some learning to be done here, right? We can do it with some gentleness and some focus. So yes, you can do that. That form, which I can call up and we can fill it out.
Yeah, why don't you call it up and fill it, and let's start to fill it out together.
See, and it's a good opportunity for you to bring all those different thoughts together, right? And gain some clarity for yourself and then for others. And that's because I'm convinced, like I was just saying, we don't have these kind of places where we can be like this with each other.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but our culture is such. When Patricia said we don't have safe and supportive places to empty. Emptying is part of the journey. All right, so let me bring up here. This is what the link I put in the chat. This is the form. All right. So, Grace, I'm willing to be your hands here so we can get this thing started. Let me check here, make sure I got your name right. So, and your email.
Yeah, Grace Denise and capital W.
So, Grace,
And I would like
do this for me, okay? Put your full name and your email address into the chat, okay? If you could do that.
I think I want to just use my the Substack. So it's Grace Denise's Substack.
Okay, so put in your email, Grace Denise, I think you're saying.
Grace Denise's Substack. And that's what I'm trying to jog to.
I just want your name and then your email address. We're going to put that there. So you're going to get a notification. I'm just going to walk you through what's going on here. We use this participation form for people registering to attend these convergences, present in convergence rooms, steward a convergence, or this one here, declare a mission for the 99 days. And by the way, the mission doesn't have to last 99 days. It's okay if it's a 2-week mission. It doesn't mean you have to do something every day, although you could if you want. There's no right or wrong. So what we want from you is a little bit of bio so people can learn about who you are.
Right. That's what I've been working on actually for the New York Times submission. So I will. Okay, I think I just want, maybe I can get some coaching just to get me through my block for doing. I've been writing about my being an artist, a writer, my parents, my family, my passion for love and peace in the world, and the insights I have through intensive reading and study over the years. So that's
right. Well, you see, Denise, but here's the thing.
Fact that I've lived in other cultures. I've known people from all different cultures and backgrounds all my life. I've had a lot of deep conversations with people. I have insights that are kind of unusual because of that. And also that I lived in Mexico, was married in a poor town.
Yeah, no, it's clear. This is part of what's going on, is that you've got gifts. Unlocking those gifts is what the potential is for you here. So
and I want to add something, and this is for you, Grace, because again, you're doing a beautiful job of modeling for all of us how often we will judge or project how someone else might judge our bio or our background, right? And it's important to remember that each and every one of us is a unique emanation of, call it God, call it life, call it Mother Earth, call it whatever you want to call it. But each and every one of us is sacred. Each and every one of us is divine. And you have had a unique life experience, unlike any other life experience that has ever taken place. And it's sacred. This is the Sacred Sunday show, and it's not just limited to Sunday. As I always say, we make any moment sacred by seeing the divinity. And right now, we get to see the divinity in you and your unique life journey. And so I just want to dispel any little gremlin thoughts that your bio isn't enough for the New York Times. And instead, let's just all collectively embrace your magnificent journey of life that has brought you exactly to the Magic Canoe, to the Global Peace Tribe in this moment, where we get to empower you and say, yes, Grace, we believe in you. We want to know what your mission is. We're going to support you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Wow.
This is really what we should be doing with each other. This is how we care for each other. And to help you, Grace, get over, years ago, Fernando Flores said that human beings are machines that make negative assessments and suffer about them. So it sounds like you're another human being. I happen to be a fan of short suffering. So sometimes just that kind of encouragement can help us here. Now, we have to grant each other permission. It's a very intimate thing to be willing to get that kind of coaching and feedback. And Scott's so good at it. But here are the places for you to declare. So up above, something about the Substack. There's something about using that vehicle you've already started to amplify it, to reach more people. You formulate that into the essence of what you want to achieve. And the game is set up. We're going to do this between now and Peace Week in September. It's not clear to me where we go beyond that. I have ideas, but I'm actually, if it turns out where I think it's going to be, I'll be disappointed. Hopefully it's going to turn out somewhere beyond anything I could have ever imagined. This is my dream for us. This is what a deep, beloved community of networks would look like. So we're asking you to put here your objectives. Take a moment, reflect on the change you wish to bring forth in the world. Describe your 99-day mission, outlining specific actions, initiatives, or goals you'll pursue during this period. Be bold, be creative, let your mission inspire others to join you in creating a brighter future. Share your mission's objectives with us. Let's embark on this collective journey towards peace, unity, and positive change. And then in addition to declaring those objectives, imagining it's September, and maybe you have your first 100 subscribers or 1,000 or whatever you want it to be. Working back from that, okay, in order for that to happen, what is the actions that need to happen to ignite that change and get others? So maybe you need people who are reviewing or reading and commenting on the stuff you're putting on Substack to share it with their friends, to amplify your voice. Maybe there's specific actions you can put out to call. This is the call to action, will serve as a rallying cry, urging others to participate and contribute towards your shared vision. So you got the link. I don't know that this is the time for us to wordsmith it, but I encourage you to do that. I promise you, if you do that, what happens when these get submitted, I'm the person who behind the scenes turns them into the nice missions you see on the Mighty Network, the Peace Through Unity Mighty Network. I'm offering to do that to each of us and any of us who choose to. Let's treat this as an experiment. This is a tale of synergy from the Magic Canoe. That's what Summer and I are. In fact, Summer gave me a bigger paddle. I have a bigger one for this journey we're on. So I'm ready. And I don't want you to be alone. You got to give that up. That's part of, I see the pattern. Even the woman, Dr. Tampson, who wrote the book on teaming, was still pretty much doing it by herself. That's not the case anymore. How many times do we feel that dark night of the soul? You feel called to something, but where are my allies? Well, they're all here, but we don't have a culture that allows us, we don't have the patterns like this show is a beautiful example, Scott, that you're making a sacred space for this kind of real life, real conversation that's going to make a difference. This is why I got up this morning. This is worth it for me.
Thank you for getting up this morning. And Grace, thank you so much. So Grace, would you be willing to fill out that form? It's in the link, right? Fill it out. And then I'm going to private message you in the chat box with my cell phone text number. And what I'd like you to do is once you've filled it out, send me a text letting me know that, and let me know like the name, and then I'll go in and I'll be able to find it. And then next week, I would love to share it with our audience. Is that comfortable for you?
I would love to have somebody look at it, so to give me the okay before it goes out, or even maybe before I submit it. I'm not sure. Just that that reassurance.
Well, go ahead and submit it. I'll give you some feedback to it. Just because you
John,
got your email. So don't let that be a reason not to do it, right? Just know that you're looking for ways out. That's the way it operates.
How do I communicate with you? Okay, so Scott, I'm going to have your text. And how about you, John?
Yeah. Well, when you fill out that form, you put in your email address.
Right.
I'll write back to you and tell you, okay, I got it. Here's my feedback. I think it's great. Or any suggestions before I publish it on your behalf.
Oh, okay. So we can edit it before publishing it.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Now, Grace, you're going to panic at some moment here. I can sense that. It's going to happen, right? We all know that. We put ourselves out a little bit. They say, oh my God, what did I do? Well, that's the transformative change that we're up for.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've done a beautiful job of modeling. It's remarkable how shy people can be. I mean, most of the people I'm looking at, are other cameras on, we've been together in this Zoom room 2 or 3 times a week for 2 or 3 years. And look at how shy people are. You're the one person who raised your hand. And I'm so grateful for you to have the courage to raise your hand and to come forward and to be with us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It takes a lot of courage to step up like this. And I'm really appreciating you very, very much.
And I wasn't all centered and grounded and organized like I would have liked to be. So this is like first, but you're making it okay. So that's beautiful. Thank you.
As a coach, I work a lot with people that are wanting to have children. And one of the things that I've learned is you're never ready to have a child. You're never ready. There's never enough information. There's never enough education. There's never enough, it's not like, and you're doing the most important thing you'll ever do in your life, have a child, and you're clearly not ready. No one is ready to have their first child. Nobody, ever, right? Well, it's kind of the truth with almost anything we do. John was not ready to create the Sign Network. I sure as heck wasn't ready to create the Global Peace Tribe, right? It just happened. We followed the call and we learn as we go along, and we take hands. And as Ram Dass said, we all walk ourselves home together, right? So none of us are ever ready to do what we're called to do. We just keep taking steps forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, for your amazing coaching and kindness here. Dorina Joy just wrote in the chat box, it also happens to be Freedom from Fear of Speaking Day.
Wow.
Isn't that something? So it's UFO Day, and Almost Sure picked up that vibe. Freedom from Fear of Speaking Day, which Grace Denise just picked up that vibe. So
I thought tomorrow was Freedom from Fear of Speaking Day. Did I get it wrong? Is it today?
According to Dorina Joy, it's today. So Eleanor Joy and Ian have raised their hands. So I'm adding our wonderful dance duo. Eleanor Joy, it's always a pleasure when you speak. Hello, Ian. And please unmute so we can hear what you have to say.
Okay. Hello.
And you live close to John. You're all up in the Pacific Northwest.
We're on Whidbey Island.
Yeah, not too far. We're in Nanaimo.
Oh, I love Nanaimo.
Yeah.
Doesn't Elvis Costello and his wife live up there? Diane Kroll, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
We got a space dedicated to her called the Diana Krall,
Yeah,
whatever it is. wall or something.
their kids.
Yeah. So mine is very basic and very simple. And not necessarily going out to the whole community. It's more of a personal thing. But it's just every day when I go out the door, and I think I've said this before, but it's my mission. I just want to be infused with love, and then I want to share that love out into the world. Could be any stranger on the street, or who am I going to meet? And I'm just open to whatever is in the flow. So that's basically been my mission statement for about the last year, I guess. And I just want to stick to it at the moment.
And she does a wonderful job of it.
Oh, you guys are a beautiful couple, I can tell. Whatever each other. Well, you don't have to declare the mission on the network, but you might want to. I mean, if I look here, let's go there again. I'll show you in the section on personal and spiritual, because for me, that's what that domain falls into. So let me see if you
And
got.
John, I got to tell you something. I am so tech challenged.
Okay.
Just ask Scott.
Oh, look at this. You see these missions? So I went here. So I mean, just, okay, it's all right. Missions 2023 on the left. I go up to the tag. Do you remember starting from within, working in a circle? That's these first 6. So what you were saying to me, I would categorize as personal and spiritual. But you see, you're not alone. There are other people doing things very similar.
Mm.
So, in fact, Summer's got one here. Now, it's in a few domains. Hers is social and cultural too, but guided ritual transformation dances to help us all heal. So if you want to, now I'm not saying you should, right? But if you want to, you can declare your mission here. Then you might have the benefit of knowing that, well, I said I was going to do this, so I'm going to do it because the world knows. Now, you may not need to. It sounds like you're pretty self-motivated. But if you want,
I don't need it for that one. But there's another one too, and there's a little comical side to this. We each have a locker, and a lot of stuff in the lockers has. So we went and looked at each locker yesterday, and we realized that probably we're going to be able to combine our stuff in one locker. So that's the mission, is we want to get this done sooner than later, before the summer's over. And
There you
the comical
Go.
part of this is we will not be moving in together because of certain circumstances, but our lockers are moving in together.
There you go. Well, these missions, some are joint missions, some become combined missions like that, right?
Yeah.
So in your case, bringing the lockers together may be the precursor to what's next for you two. But that's fabulous. And that's perfectly appropriate, right? However we want to use this idea of catapulting ourselves forward, using this time frame for harnessing the collective intelligence and the swarm creativity. Yeah, Ian, go ahead, bro.
My mission, which I've held for a few years, is to expand my capacity to love and grow wiser.
Nice. Yes.
Welcome.
Expand your capacity to love and grow wiser. Yeah.
So, so because you're having the courage to say that, I'm going to put this full spotlight on you guys for a moment. I'm going to ask our Global Peace Tribe right in this moment, because there's various ways we support each other. And so I'm going to ask each of you to share your mission one more time. Eleanor Joy, sending love out every day. Ian, expanding in the way that you just described. I'm going to ask you to do it again, say it again. And as you say it, I'm going to ask for Connie and Omashar and myself and John and Joseph and everybody who's watching to just bless you. Maximum grace for you, maximum grace for your mission, maximum grace. So, Eleanor Joy, you go first.
My mission is, when I leave the door in the morning, I just want to be infused with love I invoke that I am infused with love, and then I share that love out into the community. No matter how it looks, I don't have an agenda. I just let it happen.
So we all are holding that vision and knowing it to be so. Maximum grace for Eleanor Joy every day. Maximum grace for Eleanor Joy, radiating love out to the world every day. Maximum grace for Eleanor Joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ian?
To expand my capacity to love and to grow wiser.
Maximum grace for Ian to expand his experience of love and to grow wiser each and every day. Maximum grace for Ian. Maximum grace for Ian. And we see him expanding in love. How can he not connecting with Eleanor Joy? How can you not expand every day in love with this woman dancing with you?
Yes.
And becoming wiser in the simple ways, wiser each and every day, maximum grace. We see it and we know it to be true. Oh,
Thank you, Scott.
thank you.
Done.
The honor. There you
Thank
go.
you.
So it is.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you both so much. And, maybe somebody might, if we have anybody in the audience that's willing to, maybe just arrange a time to spend a few minutes with you going on computer. I can see some people that are more tech savvy. Maybe somebody might be willing to help you with that. If not, certainly I'd be happy to help you with that. So we'll make sure that you have the tech support. And, I recognize that that's also a thing for a lot. I mean, there's definitely areas where I have blocks to tech support. It's like, oh no, that's too much for me, and we all have a block to how much technology we're willing to learn. I've been challenged by John sometimes and I've said, John, you got to go slower. I'm not comprehending it fast enough, because John's brain thinks faster about some of these things than my brain does. So we all are at different levels of how we can take in a new way of thinking, a new way of doing technology,
Yeah, I do think that learning to learn may be the most critical skill right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mentor used to say, relax, it gets worse. And I'm telling you, the technological changes that we're going to be living through are profound.
Yeah.
So, yeah, learning how to regulate, self-regulate, and co-regulate as we enter these. Summer will tell you, you know what I did during World Unity Week to keep my sanity? I became a pizziolo. I started to learn to make pizzas. For my birthday, they got me a pizza oven.
Oh, wow.
I started to learn how the miracle of fermentation and the poolish and how dough rises. But it was so good for me to do because it was a new domain that I was not competent in.
Wow.
And learning how to learn to take in there's a new language, there's terminology, there are new resources, there's new ways to get help when you need it. This is what we're building. This is what a beloved community will do for each other. So all of us are limited in some ways. There's no question. But declaring that, you're not open to learning, that's important. If you're open to learning, we could do a lot together. And you could go from, like me, I was blind. I didn't even know what I didn't know, to now I know enough to realize, aha. And Summer could tell you, I've made a couple good pizzas so far.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
His wife Summer is the woman who did a 24-hour dance-a-thon to kick off World Unity Week. And I kept it on my computer all night long. And a couple times in the middle of the night, I looked and there she was. There was one time, there was somebody else, Ayada from our, Adora, who comes to the show, was dancing with her at about 3 o'clock in the morning one time. Dana, who comes to this show, was dancing with her. But John, there was a time that she was dancing all by herself in the middle of the night.
Yep. And she curated all of those hours with playlists.
Yes,
And she did it to empower all of us. That was her vision going into it.
absolutely. It was so inspiring. It was like,
And
this woman can dance for 24, and you know, she's not a teenager, you know. And to have the energy to dance for 24 hours,
she's amazing. She is
it
amazing.
was amazing. You know, Connie has just, I want to bring up Connie for a minute, and I'm going to bring you back up, Eleanor. So Connie has just volunteered to support you with the technology. You've, of course, seen each other on the show many times. So thank you very much, Connie, for that. So see, here it is. Here's an example of how we come together in community to support each other. So thank you. Thank you for that.
So I'll send you a private message, Connie, with my email. Is that okay?
Eleanor Joy.
Okay. In a few minutes, I'm doing something else right now.
Okay.
I'm copying the link and putting it in my email.
Well, yeah, actually, you can reach Connie on the Mighty Network, Eleanor. If you sign up there,
All right.
that's where
Okay.
her mission is.
Here's my email.
All right. Well, oh, one last thing that I wanted to say. Oftentimes, John, we get blocked when we were young. If an authority figure told us we couldn't do something, or we were stupid or bad at something, we contract. Literally, it's tragic. You know, the boy who, when he first starts throwing the baseball, and somebody who's an authority figure says, "You throw like a girl. You can't throw." Literally, as an adult, he'll go to throw and his arm will contract and he'll struggle to throw. Or there could be somebody watching this show who might have Mensa level of intelligence, but when they first started doing math, their father got impatient with them, or they had a terrible teacher who said, "What's wrong with you? Everybody should be able to do that." And literally the idea of math, and they block up. So most of us have those blocks that we have decided the New York Times is not going to, my bio is not going to be good enough for whoever's reading it at the New York Times, using Grace's wonderful example, right? I can't do that because somewhere when we tried to do it, we didn't get support. We were told that we were not smart enough, or we were not good enough, or we were not something enough. And we're here to change all that. It's an awakening world, and we are awakening human beings. And that's what we're here to do, is to support each other, saying, "Hey, it's okay. Let's try again. Hey, I know it. You know, it's a little hard. Let's slow down and support each other."
Right. That's what I was saying before about we're machines that make negative assessments and suffer about them, right? And I had this studying with this teacher. He did this exercise with us that changed my life. So you go into the middle of the circle. Imagine you're surrounded by your circle, and people are making negative assessments about you. And here's what you'd say, because you got to get it in your body. You'd say, "I can see why you'd say that. It's only an assessment. It could be grounded. It could be ungrounded. I didn't give you the authority to make that assessment, and I'm open to further conversation with you about that."
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And a few hours of that in your body, then okay. Oh, you're a fat Jewish guy from Brooklyn. All right, I can see why you'd say that.
Married to an incredible goddess who's got the energy to dance for 24 hours.
It's only an assessment. Could be grounded, could be ungrounded. I didn't give you the authority to make that assessment, and I'm open to further conversation with you about that.
That is brilliant.
Past that. It's in our bodies. This is where the learning happens.
Yeah.
So if we could
Can
use
you, while Omar is doing this closing song, put those words into the chat box, because I want people to save it. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And you know, kind of a version of that, Sean, in my coaching, and I say this kind of jokingly, but it's also serious. Scott's number one commandment is, "Thou shalt not react to an interpretation or a projection. Because what I've observed is almost every fight that a couple or a family has starts with someone reacting to an interpretation. You rolled your eyes, therefore you don't respect me. You looked at your cell phone, therefore you're not listening to me. And so we react to these interpretations, right?
It's beautifully said. You know, Summer and I have found a way out of that box, because we often say, well, when you did that, what I made up about that. So by taking responsibility for those perceptions, it was Thich Nhat Hanh said they were walking home one night and they saw a snake, and they ran inside to get a flashlight, and they realized it was a rope.
Right.
How many times our perceptions are just flat out wrong and we don't know that?
Exactly.
So when you say, hey, when you did that, what I made up about that, you didn't did anything to me. You just did what you did. I made up what I made up about it. It gives us a chance to be responsible for our own experience, which is a much healthier way of relating. That's beautiful.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. We're going to wrap it up in a moment. John, I love you so much. Thank you for being with us. I noticed that Connie is wanting you to teach a session on how to do, what did she said? John, it would be great if you would hold a Mighty Networks mission training session, which is kind of what today was meant to be, really. But John, if you're going to organize that, let me know and we will carry it on the Awakening World. And let's all twinkle John and give him lots of love. We appreciate and love John very much. Thank you, John. All right. Dorina Joy asked me how my mission of tripling our audience is going. Well, I don't know yet. We've got a long ways to go. We've got a whole, we've started. I appreciate each and every one of you that's in the Zoom room. You registered for our new season. We had a little bit of a snafu with some of the technology. We sent out the wrong registration link yesterday. Had to resend it out, but you guys all figured it out. You all made your way here. Thank you. And really one of the biggest ways we can grow our Global Peace Tribe is for you all to join me in inviting other people. Have a home party, pick one of the shows we've already done that you really, really liked. And invite people over that you think would also like that show, and watch together. Or if we have a show that's coming up that you think is going to be a really, really good show, or that, again, you think your friends would like, invite them to come see it. Have a house party and introduce people to the Awakening World. Just last week, the show we did on Pride was so beautiful. And to have that woman, Erica Kay, show up, who was at the Stonewall when the raid happened that started Pride Month. I mean, that was like being with somebody who stood next to Martin Luther King when he gave the I have a dream speech. It was that level of history. So a reminder, everybody, that we've got a really good YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, just put in Global Peace Tribe. And there right now, our show is happening live on our YouTube channel. But go through and take a look at what we have here. I've taken a lot of our favorite moments. So if you think people don't want to watch an entire show, that's too much. The very first playlist is dynamic segments from GPT shows. So if you click it, you click here, you'll be able to see, and there's the Twin Ray and Michael Beckwith and Adam Apollo and Marianne Williamson. I kind of led with some of the more famous people, Eden Amador, but then we go to Cornflower and Marcia Shimoff. And if you scroll and you scroll and you scroll, you'll start seeing some of your favorite moments. You'll start seeing not just the famous people like Marianne, but Astarius Miraculi. You might go, oh my God, I loved that guy. Or Chad Wilkins, he was so cool, right? So you go through and you find some of your favorite people or favorite moments and then share it with people, right? And so let's say right here, you see, let me pick one. Oh, okay. This is a great one. Twin Ray and Kristen Hoffman. What a combination. I'm picking it because tomorrow, I'm in Ashland, Oregon right now, where the Twin Ray live. Tomorrow night, I am picking Kristen Hoffman up at the airport in Medford and taking her to the sanctuary where the Twin Ray live. And she's spending the next week working with them on an album, right? So you really love them. So you open up powerful transformation from the Twin Ray and
love very
Deborah
deeply, and we
introducing
also
it. And you just share it. You click share, you copy it, and you send it to somebody. And you say, hey, this is an amazing segment. You're going to get to meet the Twin Ray. They're these beautiful spiritual teachers. And you're going to hear Kristen Hoffman singing. You're going to see how they interweave together. Copy it, share it, right? This is how we can grow awareness of the awakening world. Because honestly, every day that I do a show, I have pretty much the same experience. God, what a great show. And oh my God, we only had 20 people in the Zoom room. We only had 70 people in the Zoom room. When I want there to be thousands watching. Now, thank God we have hundreds watching because of the Sign Network. Thank God for the Sign Network, really, honestly. But we got to grow it.
This is great. I mean, this is your mission, Scott. This is what we're going to support you with, right?
Yeah,
And that's,
thank you.
and I'll tell you, there's a dirty word that I think is at the heart of all this. Sacrifice. Making time for others. Making that little bit of space. That balance between giving and receiving. We could do that, each of us, by doing just what you showed, finding a segment that was meaningful to us, maybe even giving people a boilerplate text, say, hey, I saw this on, Our Awakening World or the Global Peace Tribe, check this out. And, and then here's a link to where you can register to be a part of this. I mean, it's only going to happen if we do it.
Yeah.
And that's where making time for each other and making time for the things that are really important. That's a practice unto itself. There's one last thing I want to share, if I can.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, I've had great teachers in my life. There was a guy named Dee Hock. I want to bring up a quote from Dee Hock. He was the founder. He started Visa, of all things, okay? But the same principles that Dee did, Visa cards, led to the United Religions Initiative, led to a lot of things I've been involved with. But here's what Dee Hock said. He said, it's far too late, and things are far too bad for pessimism. In such times as these, it is no failure to fall short of realizing all that we might dream. The failure is to fall short of dreaming all that we might realize. We must try.
That's powerful. That is really powerful, John. Yeah, let's copy that. Let's copy that and put that in the chat box.
I will.
Somebody who sacrifices beautifully is Omar Sharp. I mean, he is always the first one into the Zoom room with me, doing the sound checks with people, preparing songs, figuring out what background he's going to use, tuning into the light of consciousness and God saying, UFO, it's UFO day. So thank you so much, Omar Shar, for being my co-pilot. Really, I so appreciate it.
It's such a privilege because I feel this growing community together. I know sometimes our Zoom room is smaller and sometimes it's quite large. However, we are moving forward and we're not stopping. And so the momentum continues and we just gather more and more conscious mass, let's say. And am I going to play a song now?
You were going to play a song now.
I'm going to play a song now. So one thing I'm going to rephrase, and John can do his quote afterwards, but Summer is a teenager. She really is. And, I think she's getting younger each time that she puts herself forward and dances and dances the joy of her heart. What an amazing woman she is. Gosh, can't say any more about that.
She's right here. I'm just encouraging her to come over and say hi.
Just wanted to let you know I'm going to the beach.
Oh, there she is. Hey,
Going to the beach.
there are.
Summer,
We love you, Summer. I am so amazed by that you did the 24-hour dance-a-thon twice now.
Yeah, well, there's another one coming, and we're pulsing, Heather and I, every 9 days. This is all in the Mighty Network, which I know y'all are diving in or maybe dipping your toes in. And lots of invitations for us to continue to connect with that medicine of the 24-hour dance. And we had an amazing gathering on the 25th after our dance that Omashar was there with me, and Scott, and so many of you came to dance. Actually, yeah, a few of you. I'm looking in the beautiful couple that are hi, yes. There was even a lookalike, Rick Rubin. I swear, at least a lookalike of Rick Rubin was very present the evening of our dance. But yeah, we had a whole focus on pride, and a circle that was one of the cycles of our dance. And there was an amazing woman that shared about her transgender child and just her journey. And a woman, Erica, it was just so much synergy.
Right.
Erica, that's a part of the Compassion Games, and her transition when she was very young in the 80s from man into being a woman. And she works with Cyndi Lauper and her organization. And so, I mean, there really is amazing things when we do put it out there and we listen and say, okay, I'm gonna show up. I'm just gonna host these circles every 9 days, because that's what I was called to do with Heather. And you just never know who's gonna show up in your Zoom room. And when you put the invitation out there, and there's so much that we're learning together, and it's exciting. I have no idea what these 90-ish, or where are we at, 80 something days?
Probably 86 days.
Yeah. And
Wow.
you know,
Whenever it starts at the right time.
yeah. Yeah. And
So
John,
as you were coming in, Summer, we were extolling your virtues, and I was affirming that you are actually a teenager. So right,
no, actually, you know what? My birthday is soon. I'm going to be 43.
is that all? It's just a spring chicken.
It's a spring chicken over here. Yeah. Yes, 43 very soon. But I feel very young, Omashar. I mean, and I mean that is a very interesting time of aligning to the soul and youthfulness, meeting that.
Yes.
I've watched it in this guy. This is also, he's a spring chicken too, by the way. The energy this one has.
I know.
And look at Scott. I mean, there's something going on in those that are really following the call. I think not many of us are talking about this, but a youthfulness of.
It is. As the light gets into the cellular structure of our body, we youth again and exude vitality.
Yeah, and being of service to something bigger than ourselves. Like, I do really feel Eleanor Joy and what she wants to do. I think there's something when we surrender and go, stepping out of our house and saying, show me show me. And what that does for our health and how we digest the challenges that are meeting all of us every day, the challenges, and still being kind and caring. There's something that's happening and it's not just the face. And I want to say too, aging is a beautiful thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I brought up Eleanor Joy and Ian because they dance to every song. Every time Omashar here. In fact, it's at the point, just so you guys know, Eleanor and Ian, that when you come into this room, I was like, oh, good, Eleanor and Ian are here. And when you're not, it's like, Eleanor and Ian aren't here. Oh my God. Now Adora dances, so we're grateful for Adora getting up and dancing. Reverend Jeffrey, we really appreciate how he gets up and dances. So
Service, right, Scott? I mean, that is service. Again, I think there's some things that we don't maybe think of that we're already doing that is serving the whole. And
new patterns. It's a new pattern,
Yeah.
right? For some of us, for us to dance is getting out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, right.
my mentor was Marshall Rosenberg, and Marshall had a wonderful quote, which is, the greatest joy in life is being of service to others.
Yes.
And when we're hip to that, when we're blessed to know that, life is so much better.
Yes.
And I've had the greatest tragedy in life is people who don't know that yet.
Yeah.
They haven't learned the joy of being of service to others. And that's tragic. Those are the people who are grasping for drugs or alcohol or more money or more this or more that, thinking that that's going to make them happy. It doesn't. Happiness comes from being of service.
Totally. And being of service to the bees that are making a hive, or, even the little teeny ants that I've
All
learned
of
from
life, all of
as we're
life.
teaming, TEEM, we're teaming with all life. So how are we of service to not just human focus too? What is it is it Lynn Twist that says we have an issue going on here, and not
It's human supremacy. Worse than white supremacy is human supremacy.
well, it's a part of it. It's all part of but that, like, how are we, like, wow, like really in service to the land and that too, including that. Yeah.
Ants, I won't go over the whole thing on it, but ants are extraordinary. And no matter what happens with climate change and catastrophe, ants will survive. And ants are all over the planet. They are everywhere. Every continent, every land mass has ants.
They love our kitchen.
You're feeding them.
Yeah. And how to love that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how, I mean, seriously, it's not easy sometimes, but, ants. They were here before us.
Well, Tamsin
And
says
they will, and they'll be here after us.
Yeah.
yeah, we are ant-like apes.
Yeah.
Learning that is part of the. We're going to make it through this dark time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Summer, will you do a little dancing along with
Yeah, let's get it going.
and
In my transition to go to the dancing on the beach, yes.
Okay,
I'm on my
great.
way out the door here, but yes.
Well, Mashar, what do you got for us for our closing dance number?
Here we are. It's I have to change my thing again. This is an impressionist piece. You can do your wildest impressionist, and Ian and Eleanor, you have to waltz because there's two of you there. And John, as a neck exercise, you can nod your head. There we go. It's called By Thy Grace. That's there. Oops. One moment. Come on. There we are. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see your holy name. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name. Someday the day shall come when all the glory shall be thine. People will say it is yours, and I shall deny, not mine. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I see your holy name. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name. Someday the day shall come when all the glory shall be thine. People will say it is yours, but I shall deny, not mine. Allah, Jehovah, Brahma, Sada Namaha. Allah, Jehovah, Brahma, Sada Namaha. Allah, Jehovah, Brahma, Sada Namaha. Allah, Jehovah, Sada, Brahma Namaha. Allah, Jehovah, Brahma, Sada Namaha. So this is your bit to sing. Continues. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Keep that going. Your holy peace to all, life to all, your holy name. Oh, your holy peace to all, life to all, love to all. Your holy name, life to all, love to all. Keep that going. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I know your holy name. It's by thy grace that I see. It's by thy grace that I know. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Peace to all, life to all, love to all. Your holy name, your holy name, your holy name.
Oh, that was beautiful. All of John's costume changes. I love it. Thank you, Eleanor Joy and Ian, Lynn and Leaf, Roger and Bonnie for dancing along and singing along. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, everybody who watches the recording. A lot of people watch the recordings of this show. We have 3 more shows coming up. I don't have the posters yet, so I can just tell you Wednesday night, it's going to be a relationship-oriented show. Saturday night, we're collaborating with Bhakti Fest, and you're going to hear from some amazing musical artists. And then on Sunday, I have something very special. You'll just have to tune in on Sunday to see what that's going to be. Take care, everybody. John, Summer, thank you so much. Omashar, I love you. We'll see you all on Wednesday night. God's blessings, everybody. And remember, we make any moment sacred by seeing the divinity in all. Take care, everybody, and good night. Good night. Goodbye.